to fire up the WRC Mini for the first time.
Everything on the engine side is completely new. It's a completely new engine.
Welcome back. Coming up soon, the Mini fires up for the very first time. But before that, let's take a look at the exact differences between a road car and a rally car.
My name is Christian Loyo. I'm Technical Director for Ford World Rally Team, and I'm going to take you through the difference between the Focus RS road car and the Focus WRC World Rally Car Air. On the rally car, we modified the body shell to put the roll cage for two main reasons. One, it stiffens the car and gives it a better handling, and second, it provides more safety for the big accident that you sometimes see on the rally. The second main difference is the aerodynamic package. The World Rally Car is different bumper with different aero device here in the front and a different rear wing. It's quite big. These two are done within specific FIA regulations. The third big difference is that the World Rally Car is a bit wider. We allowed to widen the car to 1800 millimeter so that everybody's got the same width of car and effectively the same performance between different manufacturers. Under the bonnet, this unit develops 305 horsepower and 440 Newton meter of torque. It's driving the front wheels only in this instance. Okay, now comparing to the World Rally Car engine, there you find a completely different engine bay. Still a turbo engine, this time a 4-cylinder 2-liter, and that allows us to get 330 horsepower this time and up to 800 Newton meter of torque. The engine is then driving a full 4-wheel drive transmission system, as it is the regulation in World Rally Championship. And now looking at the interior, this is a really nice, sport, sophisticated road car. So here you've got everything you need, all the instrument panel, a very nice stereo that you couldn't hear in a rally car probably, a very nice sporty 6-speed gearbox but manual, where in a World Rally Car we've got an automated gearbox with paddle shift on the steering wheel. Very important, the fourth power button that we all like, and we've transplanted from the road car into the rally cars. And now the rally car, a bit less comfy to get in, but built for speed, not comfort this time. You've got the paddle shift for the 5-speed automatic gearbox up and down. The dashboard is exactly the same shape as the road car, but this time very light carbon fiber. All the control panel for the driver and the co-driver, and a famous Ford power button to start the car. Unfortunately, one of these World Rally Car will set you off close to 500,000 euros. So not accessible to everybody.
As we say goodbye to great cars like the Focus, let's return to witness the birth of the new generation. This is ProDrive's test track in Warwickshire. BMW Motorsport have supplied the engine for the Mini and will be in attendance as it's fired up for the first time. The atmosphere is thick with a feeling of nervous excitement.
The hard bit with a rally car is every rally is so completely different. We've got to be sure the car works in snow and ice and mud and gravel and dry tarmac and wet tarmac and rough and smooth. So the process of testing a rally car takes longer than it does for a race car. We have to be patient and make sure that the car works everywhere. So this is a very important stage. This is where we check 95% of all the hard work over the last 9 months or so. We should be confident that the basic function of the whole car is as we intended. That all the cooling, lubrication, all the electronics are working, the steering, the brakes, the suspension goes up and down, the wheels go around, there are no oil leaks, no water leaks, all that sort of thing.
Small concern with some grease coming out of the dry shaft boots, but whilst we're under here, just taking the opportunity to look round and check anything else. So far so good.
Effectively, that's the first time the car's turned a wheel, and all we're doing at the moment is looking at all the data and making sure everything's working as it should. The engine guys been very cautious about looking at all the feedback from all the sensors and so on. But from a driving point of view, it seems to work fine straight out the box. The car and the engine in particular is crawling in sensors that give all kinds of feedback to the engineers that you couldn't possibly feel.
But this is the throttle here? Yeah. That's the I-turn.
Everything on the engine side is completely new. It's a completely new engine with new electronics, hardware and software. So it really is a refining all the engine mapping and the control of fuel pressure and throttle position, and there's 1,000 parameters that we need to sort of tune in the car. For the first day, I'm happy with that. Things took a while to get going this morning because, as we expected, we had lots of electronic stuff to dial in and checklist settings and so on. But as the day's gone on, we've got a little bit faster, and things are working the way they should. So we're able to get a bit of an impression as to what's to come, and it feels good. It is a great feeling to feel, hear the engine fire up and feel the car move under its own steam, and turn the steering wheel to the left and the car goes left, and press the brake pedal and the car slows down. All those things, although they sound obvious, there's still nothing quite like feeling it all working to sort of reassure everybody that we're going in the right direction.
As Mini continue their preparations, let's look back now to a rally car that proved to be a saviour to its manufacturer. The Peugeot 205 T16 made its debut on the roads of Corsica in 1984, becoming an instant yardstick for the rest. The following year, in 1985, it won both drivers' and manufacturers' titles, making it a huge hit.
It was a special car because at this time it was the only one car who was thought very cleverly with a central engine, four-wheel drive, a turbocharged engine, and it was really the first rally car made for rally at this period. I was test driver during the development, that means in 83. Also in 84, and in 84 I drove for the first 3 rallies.
The team was led by Jean Todt, current president of the FIA, and with his crew of designers, engineers and drivers, created the massive 500 horsepower engine, securing 16 World Championship victories, with 2 drivers and manufacturers titles in 1985 and 96.
We had at this time the best driver in the world possible. Harry Vatanen, Kankkunen, Timo Salonen, French, Bruno Sabi, 1 or 2 times Michel Mouton. It was a dream team at this time.
The success the rally team enjoyed was even more crucial for Peugeot.
Peugeot 205, not only as a fantastic car and a revolutionary concept, but also Peugeot 205, played an important role in rescuing Peugeot from that they were on the brink of the collapse at that time, and without 205, it would have gone belly up.
205 was on the production line from 1983 to 1997. It sold over 5.3 million units, was crowned Car of the Decade by Car Magazine in 1990, and gave us one of the greatest rally cars of all time. Take a breather, as after the break we will look to the future as Citroën and Ford discuss their new cars for the 2011 season, and the going gets tough for the Mini as it's prepared for its first run on gravel. Welcome back. This is Road Car to Rally Car. New FIA regulations for 2011 mean that Mini aren't the only ones who have been busy. Citroën and Ford have been preparing their brand new cars that will battle the Countryman. At this stage, both projects are going well.
First of all, I'm delighted because I think the car looks absolutely stunning. But of course, now the real work starts.
The car is more reactive, a bit more nervous, but it's interesting to drive it. You have to fight a bit more inside the car.
Fresh start for everybody, new cars.
and for me it's going to be very interesting to start developing a new car.
Citroën say au revoir to the all-conquering C4 and bonjour to the stylish DS3. Sebastian's Loeb and Ogier will drive for the team next season, and both have already been behind the wheel of their new machine.
It's different from the C4. It's smaller, so it's shorter, wider, so it makes it more nervous, but the feeling was good. It's very different to drive, so it's a new challenge to drive it.
The torque is something like the half of this car, so it's less power, but still the car is performant and still the car is fast. So the gearbox as well is different because we have to come back with manual selection, and it's a bit different, but it's okay. It's a nice car to drive.
It's smaller, so the car is easier to drive. It will be. I think it will be more a racing car than have been the C4, and it will be more enjoyable for the drivers to get this car. But with the new regulation, I think it will be not as fast as could have been the C4. But I think the drivers will enjoy it. They will enjoy with this car.
For Ford, the new era sees a switch from the Focus that has served them for more than a decade to the smaller, sleeker Fiesta.
We've looked at, what was the strong points of the Focus, but, we've also concentrated on looking at where we need to improve, which is asphalt rallies and things like that. The Focus was a big car, and it's a lot of car to get through the air, so at least we've got a big advantage now with the Fiesta being, it's right on the dimensions of the new FIA regulations.
Because you start with a small car which is narrow, you're allowed to widen it up to 1820 millimeters, so you've got a lot to play with the styling and the aerodynamics and so on, and it's nice because it makes a car that looks a lot more aggressive and exciting.
Basically all the information I have got from the Super 2000 guys, that the Super 2000 car has been very good with the balance of the car, so that gives me a good confidence that I believe the car will be good to drive.
There is still plenty of work ahead for Ford and Citroën, but the targets are already being set.
For Citroën Racing, the only objective is to win, so we'll try to do the same.
Okay, historically, every car that we've brought out of the stable on its debut event, we've always set fastest times, and I really don't see any reason why the new World Rally Car Fiesta isn't going to be competitive when we go to Sweden.
Mini were doing their best to make sure that they can fight Ford and Citroën from the moment they enter the championship. This is their top secret test location in Portugal. A tangible nervous tension filled the early morning atmosphere as the countryman was prepared for its first ever gravel test. It was now time for a top-level driver to take the wheel, and the motorsports press was buzzing with speculation as to who that driver might be. Cue the arrival of British driver Chris Meek, a protege of the late great Colin McRae. The perfect match for the re-entry of Mini into the World Championship.
There's nothing quite like putting the driver in and getting his feedback and putting it through its paces. You can't, no matter how much time you put the car on the old shaker rigs and rig tests and so on, there's nothing like driving it down a dusty, rough gravel road at 30 degrees and see how it all behaves.
You want raw feedback. You don't want to tell you what they think the car, it needs. You don't want to tell you whether it's springs, roll bars, aero or power. What you actually want is raw information. You just tell me what the car's doing in your own words. Don't make it up. Just if you can't feel it, then great, you can't feel it. That's what we're looking for as engineers to go forward.
The highly rated Chris Meek carries the hopes of all British rally fans on his shoulders. This is the moment they and he have been waiting for.
It's great to be crossing paths with ProDrive at this stage of my career. I've always chased an opportunity in a full-time factory drive, and especially with such an iconic brand as Mini coming back into rallying. obviously the history going back to the old Monte Carlo rallies with Paddy Hopkirk, and I'd say there's